What makes this gorilla so feared? Why does he attack without warning? And what happened on the day that left an entire expedition running for their lives? Some say it was an act of pure rage, an uncontrollable force of nature, unleashed upon those who dared to step into his territory. Others believe there's something deeper, something hidden in the heart of the jungle that only he knows. What you are about to hear is not just a story. It's a chilling encounter, a moment that defied all logic, leaving even the most experienced wildlife experts questioning everything they thought they understood about gorillas. His name is whispered in fear among those who have seen his wrath. A shadow moving through the trees, a low rumble in the distance, the sharp crack of branches breaking under his immense power. And when he strikes, it happens in an instant. No warning, no hesitation, just raw, unstoppable fury. But the most shocking part of all? What happened when one man came face to face with the beast and lived to tell the tale? Stay with us because this is a story you won't believe. They call him Kubwa, the Titan of the jungle. A name spoken in hushed tones by those who have ventured too close, by those who have seen his sheer power with their own eyes. He is no ordinary gorilla, towering over others of his kind with a massive frame and a presence that commands both fear and respect. Kubwa is a force unlike any other. His territory stretches deep into the heart of the rainforest, a place untouched by man, where the air is thick with mystery and the trees whisper secrets of ancient times. Legends of Kubwa have been passed down for generations among the local tribes. Some say he was born during a time of great chaos, a protector sent by the jungle itself to guard its deepest secrets. Others believe he was once part of a guerrilla troop but became too dominant, too powerful, and was forced into exile, where he learned to survive alone. They speak of nights when the jungle goes silent, when even the predators retreat into the shadows, knowing that Kubwa is near. They tell of trees ripped from their roots as if they were mere twigs, of warning roars so deep they shake the ground beneath their feet. But perhaps the most terrifying tale of all is the one whispered by those who claim to have seen his eyes. Piercing, intelligent, filled with something more than just instinct, something almost human. Not everyone believes the stories. To scientists, Kubwa is an anomaly, an outlier among his species, a gorilla larger, stronger, and more aggressive than any recorded before. Researchers who have tried to track him rarely return with more than glimpses. Deep footprints in the mud, broken branches where he passed, the eerie feeling of being watched, and yet no one has ever been able to fully document his existence. Some claim to have captured brief, blurry footage, but nothing conclusive. It's as if the jungle itself conspires to keep Kubwa hidden, a living legend lurking just beyond the reach of human understanding. But one thing is certain, Kubwa is real. And for those who have come too close, the stories are not just myths, they are warnings, warnings of the power that lies hidden in the jungle, waiting, watching, ready to remind the world why he is feared. It was supposed to be a routine expedition, a team of researchers venturing deep into the rainforest, determined to uncover the truth behind the legend of Kubwa. Armed with cameras, tracking equipment, and months of preparation, they believed they were ready. They had studied gorilla behavior, mapped out possible territories, and consulted with local guides who knew the land better than anyone. But what they didn't know, what no one could have prepared them for, was the moment they would come face to face with the beast himself. For the first few days, there was nothing but the usual signs of jungle life. The calls of howler monkeys echoed through the canopy. The distant rustling of unseen creatures moved through the underbrush, and the dense humidity pressed down on them like an invisible weight. Then, on the third day, the first sign appeared. A massive footprint far larger than any they had ever seen, embedded deep in the damp earth. The edges were fresh. Kubwa had been here. The team exchanged nervous glances, excitement mixed with something else, an unspoken fear that settled over them like a shadow. As they pressed deeper, the jungle began to change. The air felt heavier, the usual sounds of wildlife grew eerily quiet, as if the forest itself was holding its breath. Then, the silence was shattered. A deep, guttural growl rolled through the trees, low and menacing. The kind of sound that doesn't just make you hear it, you feel it in your bones. The team froze. The growl came again, closer this time. Branches snapped in the distance, heavy footsteps pounding against the earth. And then, they saw him. Kubwa emerged from the shadows, his massive form nearly blending into the thick jungle behind him. His dark, intelligent eyes locked onto the intruders, assessing them, deciding. He was bigger than any of them had imagined. His sheer size, his powerful arms, the unmistakable presence of something ancient, something untamed. For a moment there was only silence. Then, without warning, he moved. In an instant, the jungle exploded into chaos. Kubwa charged. Trees shook as he thundered forward, his roar drowning out everything else. The team scattered, running in every direction, the ground trembling beneath them. One researcher tripped, his camera falling to the ground, the lens capturing the moment Kubwa closed the distance. It should have been the end. But then, something impossible happened, something that no one could have predicted. Time seemed to slow as Kubwa loomed over the fallen researcher. His massive chest heaved with each breath, his dark eyes locked onto the trembling man below him. This was the moment they had feared, the moment the world's most dangerous gorilla would prove just how deadly he truly was. But then, something unexpected happened. Kubwa didn't strike. He didn't roar, didn't lash out in rage. Instead, he paused, his massive hands resting on the ground as he studied the human before him. His gaze wasn't one of blind aggression. It was something else, something almost thoughtful. The researcher, frozen in place, could only watch in disbelief. He expected an attack, expected the force of the beast to end everything in an instant. But instead, Kubwa let out a deep, rumbling breath and slowly stepped back. He wasn't acting out of uncontrolled fury. He was making a decision, a choice to spare the man before him. And then, as quickly as he had appeared, Kubwa turned and disappeared into the jungle, leaving behind only the stunned silence of those who had just witnessed the impossible. For a long moment, no one spoke. The team, still shaken, tried to process what had just happened. This was a creature they had been warned about, a beast feared by locals, a force of nature that should have acted on instinct alone. And yet, in that crucial moment, Kubwa had chosen restraint. Why? Was he truly the monster they had believed him to be, or had they misunderstood him all along? The footage captured that day would go on to spark endless debate. Some believed Kubwa's intelligence was far greater than previously thought, that he recognized the difference between a threat and an innocent bystander. Others argued that the encounter was pure luck, that they had simply caught him on a day when he wasn't in a killing mood. But one thing was certain, Kubwa was not just a mindless brute. There was something deeper to him, something beyond the legends and fear. And for those who had stood before him and lived to tell the tale, the world's most dangerous gorilla had proven that he was far more than just a monster. For centuries, gorillas have been misunderstood, seen as wild, unpredictable beasts. Their strength has often been mistaken for aggression, their warnings confused for attacks. But Kubwa's story forces us to question everything we thought we knew. Was he truly the most dangerous gorilla in the world? Or just a creature forced to defend his home against an unfamiliar threat? The truth is, gorillas are not naturally violent. Despite their immense power, they are intelligent, social beings who communicate in ways we are only beginning to understand. A chest-beating display? It's often just a warning, not an act of war. A charge through the jungle? Sometimes it's a bluff, meant to scare away intruders rather than harm them. But when their world is threatened by poachers, by deforestation, by those who don't respect the balance of nature, they have no choice but to fight back. And perhaps that is why Kubwa has become the legend that he is. Not because he is ruthless, but because he has been forced to be. Scientists studying gorilla behavior have long argued that they are far more complex than their reputation suggests. They grieve their dead. They form deep family bonds. They show kindness, even to creatures outside their species. And as we saw in that incredible moment in the jungle, they are capable of something we rarely associate with wild animals: restraint. If Kubwa was truly a mindless killer, the researcher that day wouldn't have walked away. But he did. And that alone changes everything. But Kubwa's story is also a warning. Gorillas like him are losing their homes at an alarming rate. Rainforests are being destroyed, poachers are hunting them for profit, and human expansion continues to push them into smaller and smaller territories. If we do nothing, these magnificent creatures, these intelligent, powerful guardians of the jungle, may not have a future. And if Kubwa himself still roams the wild today, how much longer before he, too, is forced to disappear forever? Perhaps the real danger isn't Kubwa at all. Perhaps the real danger is what happens if we lose him. In the depths of the jungle, where myths and reality blur, Kubwa remains a mystery, a legend, a guardian, a force of nature that defies explanation. His story is not just one of fear and power. It is a reminder of the wild's untamed beauty, of the delicate balance between man and nature. What we once saw as danger, we now see as intelligence. What we once feared, we now understand. But the question remains: how much longer will creatures like Kubwa be able to call the jungle their home? Some say Kubwa still roams, his heavy footsteps pressing into the damp earth, his watchful eyes peering through the thick canopy. Others believe he has disappeared, driven deeper into the wild by forces beyond his control. But his story, his legend, lives on. And now, it is up to us to decide what comes next. Will we continue to push these magnificent creatures to the edge, or will we finally listen to the warnings, to the science, to the truth that Kubwa himself has shown us? One thing is certain: his legacy will not be forgotten. Whether feared or admired, Kubwa has left his mark, a reminder that the most powerful beings in nature are not monsters, but survivors. If you were amazed by this story, if you want to hear more untold legends of the animal kingdom, then don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell, because the wild is full of stories waiting to be told. And some of them, just like Kubwa's, are almost too incredible to believe.